tested the best viral business hacks according to ChatGPT. And even though I've tried a lot of things over the last 13 years, both as a restaurateur and while building a successful clothing brand, some of the ideas were a bit outside my comfort zone. I've tried a lot of marketing hacks, but I wanted to see if ChatGPT could suggest anything that would work, even if that meant doing something completely different than I would try on my own. I mean, how hard could that be? Because I've been specifically trying to grow my brand's Instagram for several months, I asked it what the best viral business hacks were for Instagram. I noticed that ChatGPT likes to start out vague and return with a list of things that I need to do or figure out, so I talked through what it suggested until it gave clear specifics about how I could push my online reach into new audiences and grow from my 3,000 followers. And I realized something interesting during the process. It wasn't that the initial suggestions sounded great, because some of them didn't. Instead, being able to have a conversation about my goals exactly when I was most motivated helped me to create momentum. And as a result, just having ChatGPT give me suggestions, even strange ones, sparked my creativity and kept the conversation going until a specific plan formed. Okay, so I had a new strategy I was ready to try. And for it to be successful, I needed to create an emotional reaction, because that's what causes people to like and share and interact, driving my business's growth. I just have to reach the most people within my niche. ChatGPT suggested that if my audience was small, the best way to reach more people organically would be to find other influencers to promote my products, instead of just trying to grow using my own account. Reaching out to other influencers and asking for them to create content meant putting myself out there, but I was willing to push past the discomfort and give it a try. At first, I typed up a generalized message that mentioned I love the content they had been posting lately and how I thought that we would be a great match working together, by offering something for their audience and how if they wanted to collaborate on a post, we would love to send a few things their way. I built a list of 15 to 20 influencers and prepared to send out those messages. Initially, it felt like a huge risk to just send out dozens of products for free. I was hoping that the phrase "it takes money to make money" would apply here, and then I rationalized that it was similar to ads. I wouldn't say I was crazy about the idea or even happy with shoveling out not only the inventory and time, but also the shipping fees that accompanied sending these orders out across the country. But I figured if I could build the reach of my business online, then new customers and the audience of the influencers would come. It was tough to send the DMs out, but I did it. And then I got this back. It felt like I was so far off of my expectations. I had been worried about several hundreds of dollars in product and shipping fees, but this seemed like it would kill the entire plan, as I realized I might be playing in a space dominated by large companies. The profit I could expect from a single influencer's post was nowhere close to what they were asking for. I started to doubt if I could tap into influencer marketing at all beyond trying to build my own organic audience. I thanked her and felt completely defeated. Fortunately, I started getting responses from other influencers who were excited for the opportunity. And that's when I started to send out products in exchange for collaborations and posts. This went on for several weeks and the results were promising. Our sales, the quality and variety of our content, and the following were all improving. Until one day when I made a mistake that led to a huge breakthrough. Now, each time I sent out a batch of DMs, I would write a variation of the same message and send out copies to everyone in that group. But one time I essentially just offered to send out stuff that I thought they'd like, and I didn't ask for a collaboration or anything in return. That one shift changed everything. The response rate was much higher when we didn't ask for anything. And more surprisingly, once the influencers received their stuff, I actually received more content in return. By just being generous and giving without expecting or specifying anything in exchange, we discovered that people were more willing and eager to reciprocate. After working through the initial shock and then seeing the process work, I realized that it's okay when influencers say no, because plenty more will say yes to free things, especially when you offer a kickback or present them with something that will resonate with their following. So the plan was simply to continue using this growth hack to expose us to the audience of other related influencers. That would in turn start to feed into my own brand's Instagram growth. My store's Instagram following was stuck at 3,000, and my sales from the platform were pretty stagnant. So once I had a game plan, I was ready to add another viral hack to my strategy for growth. And this is where the magic is going to happen. What I had to do next was figure out how to best utilize the influencer relationships I already built to create an additional layer of content that would continue to tap into their audience. If this approach could make viewers feel something when they were fed content from their favorite influencers wearing my products, they would hopefully associate that feeling with the need for my product. We want the audience to comment, share, or like the post through interacting. When the content is tailored to the audience were more likely to catch a viral wave. And one of the easiest ways I found to do this was to harness the reaction to surroundings and the feeling people get when they're at a destination. So let me give you an example. When you see someone on vacation at a tropical beach, you can imagine yourself in a warm climate, feeling relaxed, probably wearing a light t-shirt. Now, if I'm selling beach-themed tees, I want to put you, my buyer, in the zone and mindset of those things. As content came in, I realized I didn't have to plan my product photography shoots around simulating buyers' ideal moments or spend the time and money to travel and make those moments for myself each time a new product dropped. Instead, I was able to outsource my product photography to the most representative examples of my ideal buyers, who then brought my products and my target audience's imaginations to exactly where I wanted them to feel immersed. All of this started because I utilized something that ChatGPT told me was a viral business hack: other people's content. This was surprisingly easy to pull off. By taking it one step at a time, I evaluated the results of each action, made small changes, and looked for ways to pivot or to find new opportunities along the way. Once you have a yes and an address to ship to, and the relationship is established, you have a new funnel for fresh, potentially viral content from the contact. You might be thinking, well, that's a wrap, thanks for the advice. But remember my original reason for wanting to test these viral business hacks? Does this actually work, or are you just throwing product and money out the door? By the time I went back to my existing circle of influencers, I had only grown about 1,000 followers, but I learned a very valuable lesson that I'm going to share with you because it's one of the few viral business hacks that I learned on my own, and it's had the largest correlation to sales. And if I'm being honest, I'm not very good at it. I get a bit nervous when I approach another person in my niche because there's always that little voice in the back of your head wondering if you're ready, if your business is ready, or even good enough. But when I started this process, my goal was to test a viral growth hack. That hack was to use other people's content by collaborating with influencers that complemented my business. For 2 months, I placed myself outside of my comfort zone with a clear goal in mind and my eyes on the how, without worrying about my personal comfort or how I would feel being rejected or even interacted with. But did the business become extremely profitable because of this? No. As things started to take off, I began to get overwhelmed, spending more and more time trying to scout out new influencers, managing the conversations, track the flow of outbound products and inbound content, all while maintaining my business. This put pressure on my ability to create new products and slowed down the releases coming into spring and summer. To buy back my time, Richie and I hired a dedicated assistant who I trained to take over the entire influencer process. And within a week, it freed my time up to work on the business again. After turning over the scouting and the conversations to my assistant, I was surprised how it felt. Even though it got easier for me to DM people, it was still something that didn't come naturally to me. When I started reviewing the conversations my assistant had with the influencers, they were much more comfortable being direct, diving in and building connections without being afraid of rejection. It was a great example of how I could hire a position to cover a weakness, and it worked out because we hired after we found the solution rather than hiring them to be the solution. After that, I was able to get back on track and focus on growing my business. After the 3rd month using this process, I almost doubled my small following and had my best Shopify sales day of the year. It absolutely worked in terms of helping my business break out of a rut and help put it on the path to becoming a better known business in terms of popularity of my niche and profit to my bottom line. This is what matters, growing your business, because you only have so much time to put in. Making sure you use it effectively is key. Looking back, it's obvious as to why it did so well. I took something that I already knew my niche was interested in and built a better foundation for myself to grow on. While viral business hacks can be powerful tools for driving growth, they should be used in alignment with your long-term goals. Building lasting relationships with customers and delivering value should always be your primary focus. But how do you understand who your primary customer is and how to reach them? Well, to answer that question, Richie made this video.